Arsenic Candy. Liliana was a shy girl who lived all alone, in a house a tad bit too big for her, but it was still home. She always fluffed her hair and powdered her cheeks. She carried a smile, although it falsely held back tears, for a pain of her late husband still sank deep, though she had been alone for nearly 5 years. In past years, some trick-or-treaters hit him with a stone as he drove with his window open. Swerving off the road, such a simple act of childish foolishness left her as a widow. As Hallows Eve soon approaches, her heart weighs heavy, as her emotions assign blame. First sadness, followed by anger, a rage towards those little rats she could no longer tame. Liliana dressed her best and walked out of the house that morning. She spent the day in town, as a dark idea filled her mind as she was trying to avoid her mourning. She arrived home with many goods, but one white bag was something special for the kids. Some homemade arsenic candy to fill the tummy of those little pigs. She felt quite glad, putting an extra effort to hide the off-tone color. She knew she had a batch of candy like no other. Every day that passed she awaited with a growing eagerness, as this being the only other thing she cared for most, short of the taste of her lover's once warm kiss. Finally, the night had arrived, with pumpkins placed and candles lit. Liliana had decorated so well. She knew this would attract those little costume children, so they could be painfully dragged to hell. She saw their smiles and already pictured them dead and pale, as their terrible parents above their bodies wailed. She held back a laughter with every passing thought, as each little child, 2 arsenic humbugs they got. After a long night of festivities, Liliana turned in, leaving the bowl for anyone who wanted an extra treat. She snuggled in bed, feeling warm as she basked in her sin. She would read days later of the humbug candy. She cried with laughter as over 50 dead. It seemed all so dandy. She planned the next year's batch, as this one had to be bigger than before. Little did she know, an officer of the law, following clues, was soon led to her door. Instead of bringing her in, this officer of the law, a father of 3, clenched his fists in vengeance. For this he would see. With 3 humbug candies in their arsenic coat, as she lay sleeping, he would shove his hand over her mouth and force them down her throat. More than enough to kill her, the surprisingly pretty woman. He tied her to the bed, no words spoken, as he gagged her mouth and left her sobbing for dead.